Mr. McCaul.
Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 2 minutes.
I thank the gentlelady. Mr. Speaker, today we rise as Americans, first and foremost, to remember the victims of 9/11. 3,000 Americans were killed on that day. To remember the fallen heroes, the firefighters, the police officers who rescued so many lives and who some gave the ultimate sacrifice. I remember watching on the television on 9/11 with my daughter as a second airplane flew into the building, and she said, "Daddy, why did that airplane fly into the building?" And by the time the second one hit, we all knew that this was no accident. This was an intentional act of terrorism, an act of war against the United States. I was a counterterrorism prosecutor in the Justice Department. We saw many warning signs. The embassies in Africa, the USS Cole, 1993 World Trade Center, Ramzi Youssef, who almost brought the World Trade Center down that day. When they arrested him in Islamabad, many of you may not know this, but they found 12 baby dolls stuffed with chemical explosives that he intended to take on airplanes, part of the Bajoinka plot to blow up 12 airplanes simultaneously. The evil genius, his uncle Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11, who to this day, the information we obtained from him has saved American lives. Most chilling experience I've had as a member of Congress was to see Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in prison down in Guantanamo, the man who was responsible for killing 3,000 Americans. As the 9/11 Commission said, the only way we will ultimately prevail in this twilight struggle is through good intelligence. We cannot tie the hands of the intelligence community. We cannot threaten them with prosecution. We cannot have a global justice policy that Mirandizes terrorists captured on the battlefield in Afghanistan when the first words we say to them is, "You have the right to remain silent." How in the world will we get good intelligence with that kind of policy? And if I could close with an FBI agent's quote before 9/11, who said, "Someday someone will die and the public will not understand why we were not more effective at throwing every resource." May I have 15 more seconds? Said, "Someday someone will die and the public will not understand why we were not more effective at throwing every resource we had at certain problems, especially since the biggest threat to us now, Osama bin Laden, is now getting the most protection." We'll never forget that day. We can never make the same mistake again. We owe that to the victims and the heroes of 9/11. It is our most solemn obligation to first and foremost protect and defend the American people. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired.